Shifting focus now to the parliament, where after a lot of protest and insistence of the opposition, finally the SIR debate is taking place. Debate on electoral reforms is taking place in the parliament. Now, the Bharatiya Janata Party and the Election Commission, according to Rahul Gandhi, who in fact spoke on this issue, once again reiterated his vote Chori remark as far as the election process is concerned. Rahul Gandhi said the BJP and the Election Commission are hand in glove. He also alleged a conspiracy, a sharp attack by Rahul Gandhi in the Lok Sabha. The Congress leader claimed everything in India that exists today has in fact emerged from the vote, and the RSS is trying to capture that institution. There was a sharp retort by the Bharatiya Janata Party. In fact, we have seen usually when Rahul Gandhi speaks, usually the BJP puts up Nishikant Dubey, the MP, to counter what Rahul Gandhi has said. In this tu mein, whether this is just political point scoring or this is actually in fact something that people should be worried about, or a debate which will lead to some sort of conclusion, better reforms as far as the Election Commission and the whole process is concerned, that is awaited. At this moment, it seems a massive political slugfest is on in the parliament on this debate.
There is no bigger anti-national act that you can do than vote Chori. Because when you destroy the vote, you destroy the fabric of this country. You destroy modern India. You destroy the idea of India. So I'd like to conclude by saying vote Chori is an anti-national act, and those across the aisle are doing an anti-national act. Is also a fabric. It's a fabric made up of 1.4 billion people, and the fabric is woven together by the vote. Let me repeat it. It is a fabric of 1.5 billion people, and it is woven together by the vote. Everything that we see, in fact this house where I'm standing today, the Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, Vidhan Sabhas across the country, Panchayats across the country, none of them would exist if the vote did not exist. We talk with great pride about HAL.
SIR है क्या सर? 70 साल का एक आदमी तजिमुल, मैं आपको नाम कहता हूं क्योंकि मुझे पार्टी ने प्राणपुर का इंचार्ज बनाया था सर। एक मुझे खबर मिली, मैं उसके घर पर गया, तजिमुल नाम था। 70 साल में वो आदमी आकर कहता है कि मैं वोटर लिस्ट में अपना नाम डालना चाहता हूं। इलेक्शन कमीशन ने पूछा कि 18 साल जब वोटिंग का राइट हो गया तो आप 70 साल तक क्या कर रहे थे? 2020 के वोटर नहीं, 2015 के वोटर नहीं, 2010 के वोटर नहीं, 2005 के वोटर नहीं। तो क्या आपको लगता है कि यह देश जो है वो बांग्लादेशी वोटरों से जो है बिहार का चुनाव होगा, देश का चुनाव होगा? यदि तजिमुल, मैं नाम बता रहा हूं, मैं आजिम नगर का तजिमुल है, मैं नाम बता रहा हूं, पप्पू यादव बैठो, आप बैठो, मैं नाम बता रहा हूं, आजम नगर का तजिमुल है जो 70 साल में जो है बनना चाहता था। बैठो जनाब।
This is a very important issue, electoral reforms, the questions that the opposition has been raising, and finally there is a debate happening on this. But is it just political point scoring which is going on as far as this debate is concerned? Let me very quickly bring in Siddharth Yadav, BJP spokesperson, who is joining me on the broadcast. Dr. Pooja Tripathi is also joining us at this moment, Congress spokesperson on the broadcast. Thanks to both of you for taking the time out. Mr. Yadav, let me begin with you. Rahul Gandhi point blank had raised some questions. And first of all, it all starts, he says, with the intention. The way things are happening as far as whether it's the election of the chief election commissioner is concerned, the CJI was removed despite the court, in fact, mandating it, the government bringing an ordinance and changing that rule, or the rules which have been changed as far as the videography is concerned. These raise suspicion, and opposition party, along with the people of India, have a right to question that. Why was it done?
No, I think there is neither any suspicion nor there's a denial that the opposition party has a right to question. But what are the questions is important. If the opposition is just raising questions for their face saving in the defeats that they face due to the electoral process in the country, then I think that is not for the democracy. Now, I'll point blank answer on the two questions that you have asked me. Point number one, on the selection process of the election commissioner, what was the selection process before 2014? There was no process at all. The president used to appoint it. The PMO used to send a name. There was no committee, no recommendation. Nothing from the opposition was taken. This was challenged in the Honorable Supreme Court. I am a lawyer by profession. The Honorable Supreme Court very clearly and categorically made it clear that until the government comes up with a provision, the CGI is going to be part of that committee. Until the government comes up with a provision. What did the government come up with a provision? The government included the leader of opposition. First time in Indian history in the selection of the election commissioner. Never happened in UPA, never happened in Congress rule. So if the Congress party is coming up with such baseless and false claims just because they can't face the losses in elections, I think it's deplorable. Number two, you asked for rules being changed about CCTVs. We are still in the 45 days window from Bihar elections. Still today. Has Rahul Gandhi applied for any CCTV? If he does so, he can get it. But as soon as 45 days
whether Rahul Gandhi or any political party applies for it or not? What was the need to change the rules? I mean, that is the question. It's not about whether Rahul Gandhi does it or not. And like you are saying that the rules were changed, the leader of opposition was brought in. It's not a great favor which has been done on the leader of opposition. It's basically majority is with the government, with the minister from the government also being brought in. So that the question is, if the CGI had said that among the three people, it could be the CGI, the chief prime minister, and the leader of opposition, what was the need to change it to a majority of the government?
Ankit, I'm very sorry. That was an interim provision. The Supreme Court had never said that this is the final provision that we are making, or this is how it should be done.
All I'm saying is the Supreme Court had indicated something.
So when we say,
if you change that, then questions would be asked about the intention.
You have asked me a question, let me respond. You have asked me a question, let me respond. So when you say that it was changed, it was not changed. The Honorable Supreme Court's order was complied with, and the government came up with the provision. The Supreme Court had never intended the CGI to be part of that process because we have a division in how the functioning of our government happens. There's a different executive, there's a different legislature, and there's a judiciary that separates. That's point number one. Point number two, what favor was the UPA giving when there was no panel? What favor did the UPA or the Congress party did when the leader of opposition was never a part of this process?
I totally agree with what you are saying, sir. And at that point of time, your party and your party leaders were writing books about EVMs and they were raising these questions as well. The UPA did not do any favors. I completely agree with you. They should have been more impartial. They should have been more transparency. But what stops you from doing it? You can't hide behind what UPA did.
Ankit, I didn't know that we would jump so soon to the EVM from the selection of the election commissioner to the EVM so soon. Rahul Gandhi
I am only talking about the election process, sir. I did not. From the election commission to the EVM, all is part of the election process. Please go ahead.
Skipped the election. He has skipped the discussion around EVM and VVPATs long before he started with this new drama. But what I intend to say is, and when I say that Rahul Gandhi can apply for CCTVs, is there's a process. There's an Article 324 of the Constitution. The Constitution gives that right, that electoral mandate, that constitutional mandate to the Election Commission of our country. The Election Commission is doing what is mandated by the Constitution of our country. There's a process for anybody, you, me, Rahul Gandhi, Congress party, anybody, to take CCTV footage. 45 days will pass. They will not apply for it. But when it will pass on, then they will begin their political. Then they will begin their political.
Dr. Tripathi, the fact is, whether it's the SIR process, the Supreme Court very clearly asked you to bring some evidence. The opposition failed to bring any evidence as far as the SIR process is concerned in the Supreme Court. Whether it is, the EVM process, the Election Commission keeps asking you, why don't you come? Whatever your doubts are, why don't you give it in an affidavit? The opposition does not do it. The fact is that the BJP and the ruling party says it is only a frustration of losing that you want to put. You don't want to take the blame. The Congress leadership doesn't want to take the blame. Hence, let's blame the institutions.
Ankit, as far as taking, this whole rhetoric of hum to election jeet rahe hain, they are losing, this is their losers are. I think we are done with this. We are.
It's not the rhetoric, it's the reality at this moment. Please go ahead.
I didn't interrupt you. Please do. Siddharth, because I'm saying ki CGI should be removed from the panel of the panel that selects the chief election commissioner and the various commissioners. You are actually casting aspersions on CGI's capability. Where do we talk about neutrality and transparency are the foundation stones of democracy? And you are asking about proof. We have given ample proof. We have given proof in Mahadevpura. Rahul Gandhi gave a press conference with solid proof. For the Allen seat, how it was.
What you call a fact or proof will have to have some sort of scrutiny, right? That has to stand the scrutiny of the law. Putting some documents out cannot become, automatic proof. If that is what you think has happened, take it to the court. Let the court decide whether your proof has any water or not.
2023, they have come up with a rule that election commissioner is immune to whatever action he takes, whatever process he undergoes during his tenure of office. Why does this rule come? We are talking about intention here, Ankit. When you remove CGI from the list of panels, your intention is doubtful. When you destroy the CCTV footage after 45 days, it's the intention that we are questioning. When you put election commissioner under immunity, is the intention we are questioning. And just Bihar SIR, you were discussing Bihar SIR a few days back. There was a reporters collective report that an aeronet that was used for detecting the duplicate voters in the whole electoral rolls. It was election commission in a written affidavit before Supreme Court accepted that they have not used it. They've scraped it, which they were chest thumping about in 2024 elections, saying it's not right, it's not perfect, and that's why we have removed it. And that's why there was some fight.
So let me understand this. Let me understand this. I understand the question on intention, but let me take you back to the proof that you are talking about. If you are so sure that the entire process is vitiated, there are only two options that the opposition has. Take a strong moral ground on it, stand on it, or either boycott the election or take those proofs to the court. Apart from that, it seems at this moment that these are only being used as an excuse to save your top leadership. Even before the Bihar election got over, Mr. Gandhi, when he was doing that press conference, no matter what he said and no matter how solid that press conference is, he ended it by saying, I will be doing this after Bihar as well. It looked like he had already accepted defeat even before the first vote was counted.
It's not about having defeat. He was talking about Haryana elections. How, it's not about thin regional margin. We lost Haryana elections. But what happened when he got the proof of Brazilian model voting 22 times, when he got out the proof of that old woman voting for 200 times in a single booth, this was some solid proof at the behest of the nation and it's in the front of the nation. Why do you expect Rahul Gandhi to do everything? He is actually, there's a proper fact checking team that's going through papers because we are not getting this machine readable format. God knows what election commission is after it. No digital format.
Okay, Siddharth Yadav, answer this. It's a valid question to ask about intent. Why shouldn't it? You are saying that Rahul Gandhi has not gone ahead and, in fact, registered or asked for any CCTV footage. The fact remains, the order to change the rules came only after the High Court of Bombay had in fact issued an order for releasing the CCTV footage when people had gone to in fact see the CCTV footage. Then of course giving immunity to the Chief Election Commissioner. It all seems that there is, at least for the opposition, it all seems that your intentions are under question.
No, please let me, help me understand this. So the question is the intention or the question is something that has actually happened? First, let us clear that, because when the opposition comes out and says, claims.
How would anybody know if something happened or not if you keep changing the rules?
Also the manipulation.
So one thing that I'm sure about is that nobody knows that something has happened, but vote chori and all allegations without any proof and without fully knowing are being levied by the Congress party. Which brings me to my charge that in a healthy democracy or in a democracy where we are mandated by the constitution, is this how we work? Can a leader of opposition be so careless and baseless that he would levy allegations of unfair electoral process without any proofs, without knowing what is happening? That's point number one. Point number two, how do we ensure?
But the proof, as I said, the proof, whether it holds any water or not, will only be decided by a legal competent authority. Take it to the court. You can't keep saying I have proof for everything unless and until that is verified or something happens on that proof.
Ankit, I'll also complete. I have just two small submissions to make, because this is not that complex, and I want to use simple words so that it's easy for Rahul Gandhi to also understand. The Honorable Supreme Court is so kind enough. They have come out by saying, you bring us one person of whom name was deleted in the SIR that was conducted in Bihar. One person. The Honorable Supreme Court has kept an open window. No 45 days, no 60 days, no 3 months, no 6 months. One person you have to come. You can't bring one person. You call the entire election a false process, an unfair process. You can't bring one person. That's point number one. Point number two, let's rest this debate. Today, we have the 45-day window of getting CCTV footages in Bihar. Do you want to get it or not? Because as soon as 45 days,
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that argument. I don't agree with that argument. You have 45 days window, and the question is, when the High Court had mandated the release of the CCTV footage of 2 elections in Maharashtra, why was that rule changed?
No,
What was
who
the
will answer that? Election
What
Commission?
has to be understood is, Ankit,
Why
what has
do
to be
you want
understood is
everything
the
under
45-day window, not just for CCTV footages, the 45-day window about election appeals, about who can challenge the election commission or the election process, is constitutionally mandated. You and I have not decided this window. Neither can we. Can we say today that the election that was forged by Indira Gandhi and Raj Narayan won in the court, I want to reopen that case again today? Can we do that? Or would we have
There were no
process or not?
CCTV footages
I'm
at that
sorry
point
you
of
would
time,
not.
and the fact also remains that this rule has been changed midway. That is why the questions are being raised. I'm completely out of time. There is a breaking news coming in at this moment. I'll have to thank both of you for speaking to me. I'm hoping that this debate does come to some sort of a conclusion, and then after that, at least the opposition, which has been demanding a debate on SIR, on electoral reforms, at least we don't see, protest and parliament being stalled on it. An earnest debate is what the expectations of the people are.